Yes, we will watch He-Man. The watching of He-Man is what we will do. Into the castle of PODSKULL. It's manly and cheesy and rad, maybe a bit homoerotic too. He-Man, it was our favorite show. He-Man, let's watch it now that we're old. He-Man.
Hey folks, welcome back to Castle PODSKULL. This is the podcast where we review everything He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I am one of your hosts, Tom, aka the Professor Xennial.
And I am Kevin, aka Fan at Arms, no longer the Dorco. We have a special bonus episode for you because we've been getting hyped for the actual movie premiere of Masters of the Universe. So we're interrupting our regular scheduled rewatch of the old cartoons to have a bonus episode watching the trailer for the movie that is coming up in less than a week. Actually, just a few days from, and maybe even from the time of viewing the premiere in New York.
You might have already seen it. I mean, as we record this, is the weekend before the movie comes out, which is, Kevin, I don't know, as a He-Man fan, that is not necessarily a sentence I thought I would ever be saying, that there is a new hit, in the last 30 or whatever, 40 years almost. Which is kind of crazy. But on Monday, there is a premiere in New York City. And unfortunately, I won't be able to go to it, but sometime this week, hopefully we can both go and see this movie. And, and I'm about to have a baby here any second, but we can go and see the real movie and tell you what we thought of it. But we just thought it because on this podcast, we want to review everything. And this is something that I think we're both really excited about. So let me ask you sort of, Kevin, before we get into the details of the intro, if this is your first time joining us, we are a video and an audio podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, that's awesome. If you're not, our YouTube, where you can see our pretty faces and our excellent hair, is at youtube.com. Unprecious Studios is the channel where we are on right now. And then you can also check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Castle_PODSKULL. And of course, if you are not listening to this on audio, but you want just the audio form, that's fine too. You can listen to us pretty much anywhere podcasts are heard. We are on Apple. We are on, probably by the time of this launching, we will be on Spotify as well. So there you go. Feel free to listen everywhere you like. Please follow us, rate us 5 stars. It helps us in the algorithm, right? Follow, smash that follow. Power Punch.
Power Punch. Give that rating a Shimer Punch 5 stars. 5 Shimers.
This is your first time joining and you don't know what the Shimer Punch is. Maybe you should watch the other episodes. But basically, the executive producer of the original Filmation cartoon, Lou Scheimer, famous also for supposedly doing what, Kevin?
His family famous for punching out Nazis, and what is more heroic than that? So we rate
not just Nazis, specifically the Skeletor of Nazis,
punching out a young Adolf Hitler. So
supposedly. So that's
we love
the
Lou
Scheimer punch.
Yeah.
So let's get right into this trailer, which has been really exciting. Now, Kevin, I don't know where you stand on this thing. We first heard about this movie coming out probably a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. And it kind of went to the back of the brains. We were excited about this podcast. And then, we started this journey almost a year ago and have been making these episodes and working on it. And then we realized we were leading up to when that movie was, and it's like, this is actually going to happen. Yeah. And we had the bright idea of delaying the release, and we decided we wanted to release our episodes a week before the movie came out, so we could kind of generate that buzz now that people were getting really excited about Masters of the Universe. And I'm excited. I mean, I've seen some of these trailers, and I am more hyped for this movie than any big budget movie, sci-fi fantasy film I've seen in a long time. And it looks great, and it's got an amazing cast.
Now, did you start hyped?
I was cautiously hyped. I'm excited about anything that is my fandom, but I also want to calibrate that it's like, I'm older, maybe I won't love things as much as I did as a kid. And, sometimes Hollywood movies, big budget, but they don't necessarily have a great story or a great cast. But honestly, it really looks like they put a lot of time and effort into this, and it just looks honestly, it looks gorgeous. Like this feels like it carries that torch of how beautiful the animation was from the 80s and doing something fun and playful with it. So visually
Yeah.
loud and really fun. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So I have a confession to make. When I was a kid, I went and saw the original, the Dolph
Mhm.
Lundgren movie, which I think at the time I
Mhm.
thought, oh, this is pretty bad. And I don't know how old I was, like old enough that I should have been right in that, like young enough that I was right in that pocket, right? Of like, oh,
Yeah.
I love this. Even at the time, I was like, this is a little stinky. I
Yeah.
could tell, I was disappointed with it as a kid.
Yeah, I
But I,
feel like it had so many things going for it, but then visually they went in a direction that didn't really look like He-Man. I mean, Dolph
yeah,
Lundgren looks amazing. I love Frank Langella as Skeletor.
perfect.
Phenomenal performance.
Prefer.
Awesome special effects. But visually it looked more like, I don't know, they looked like their outfits were something out of like RoboCop, like futuristic, but not necessarily from Eternia. So it,
Correct.
yeah.
And
So,
yeah, and what we should do is we should go back actually and watch that movie, and after we see the new one, and just for a little revisit, I think we'd have a lot of fun doing that. We can talk
oh
more
yeah,
about it in depth then. But I mean, it was what 1987, and
yeah.
we have to keep that in mind. But it was also I later learned, like as I got into my filmmaking life, that like, okay, the people who produced that movie, there was Canon Films, right, which is
Mhm.
like, or Golan Globin, yeah, it was like it was one of those, which is like fairly famous for making, sort of bad medium to high budget films, and like, but nickel and diming and things like that, right? And
Mhm.
boy, you see every nickel on screen, like in that regard.
Yeah,
And what we're getting at here is that the original 1987 movie was like sort of at the peak of, or just coming off of the peak of He-Man mania, right?
yeah,
Which was like largely like 1982 to 1987 was sort of the last year of that. But it was set mostly on Earth, right?
right.
Which is
Which
what we don't
at the
want.
time felt really like, what are we doing on Earth? And if you hadn't seen the original episodes, like we've just covered, if you've seen some of these early episodes, you realize Earth is connected directly to Eternia.
Right.
But when you're watching the movie, it's just like, well, why is this, shot in a bombed out urban America, Earth setting? It doesn't feel like what we expect with Masters of the Universe being on Eternia and all the worlds that you can go to, the fantastic worlds that you can go to. And, now we're here on Earth. So it
Right.
felt a
And
little
the
weird.
answer, of course, is money, right?
Money.
Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot more to recreate Eternia than it does to shoot in some, backlot or empty high school in
Oh, yeah.
Michigan or wherever they shot.
Yeah.
But so I think for years and years and years, like that's been the sort of the thing that He-Man fans have been upset with. Like, oh, they made a
Yeah.
movie. It didn't even take place on Eternia. It had Beastman, cool, but where was Triclops? Where was Trapjaw? Where was et cetera,
Yeah.
right?
Where was Snake Mountain? Where was Castle Grayskull? The things that we're most
Yeah.
excited about. We love the characters, but it's like we want to see
I don't
those
even think there was
fantastic
Battle
worlds.
Cat. Was there Battle
Yeah.
Cat in that movie? I
No,
don't think there
no,
was.
I think it was just, yeah. See,
We have to go
and
back and watch. But
yeah, yeah,
that's that movie, right? And
yeah,
so what got me sort of upset in later years, and I use upset like loosely, right? Like I'm not one of those fan people
yeah,
that I'm
same,
like,
yeah,
well, actually, like Orko should be, it's unfair that they cast an actor with legs as Orko. He needs,
exactly.
I'm not gonna take that approach. A lot of people are upset that like, oh, Man at Arms is black and etc. But whatever, we're not gonna like. I'm not that kind of fan. I'm not right.
Honestly,
Yeah,
anyone that is upset that Idris Elba is
yeah,
playing Man at Arms,
right.
go get over yourself, man.
Uh,
He looks fantastic. And honestly, I
Absolutely.
think I'm more excited about this movie with him as Man at Arms because Idris Elba, I just love. But he looks like he's really leaning into action. Like he's having so much fun with this role. And I
Right.
feel like this is like, I loved him when he was in Thor, but remember everybody being upset when he was playing Heimdall, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I felt like they kind of cut down, his role in that. And this feels like it's justice for that. He gets to like really come out and really be high energy and fun and playful. And I feel like they're having a full cast. This is
Right.
Masters of the Universe. This is He-Man, but it's not just He-Man. They are making their Avengers with this. So
That would be the
everybody looks
hope.
great.
Well, I mean, that would be the hope. And I mean, like, and at first glance, for like Man at Arms, it's like, what do you want? Well, I want him to be a man. Like, I want him to
Mhm.
be Man at Arms. Like, they're not gonna
Yeah.
gender flip that role. Although other roles I'm fine with. But
Yeah.
but I also want him to be a man in the like, I'm not gonna play him. Like, I
Yeah.
want him to be like someone who could beat me up. Like the
Yeah.
first movie, it's like, a guy looks like, kind of like my Uncle Dave and so forth. That's
Yeah.
fine. But like, I do want him to look like that, and he has to be able to rock a mustache. And I think
Yeah.
Idris
And
could
his
be both of those.
mustache is killer.
It's
So
awesome.
I feel like he's badass. He's got the mustache and he's resourceful. We see quick clips of him and he's
Yeah.
already, I don't want to spoil the trailer. It's like, he's
Yeah,
got
we're gonna get into the
the-
trailer in a second.
Yeah, he's got the toys, and that's like the key to Man at Arms is
Yeah.
the being resourceful, the mustache, and the toys, and he has it in spades. I'm so excited. So
And this will be the interesting thing, because like, since a lot of the Marvel movies have come, well, what I was gonna say is this: like, the He-Man movie came out in '87, and then you had like a long period where they didn't make, other than a couple Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies in like the early '90s at the height of that fandom, like the first time around, they didn't make any movies about any of these things until like the mid-aughts, right? And then you started to see, now there's Transformers movies, right? Now there's like a couple G.I. Joe movies, and I kept in that period being like, where's the He-Man remake? Like, why is this not happening? Right?
Yeah.
It feels like at that era, when it's like those of us who grew up with it are in our 20s and then like early 30s, it's like, shouldn't people our age are now starting to be in charge of some of the studios? Like, shouldn't this be if Transformers is happening, shouldn't this be happening?
Oh, exactly.
But it
And
never
it's
did.
like
Well, same with the
technology
Thundercats
finally
movie,
caught
I
up,
guess.
because I think at the time, we talk about like these are expensive movies to make, and the technology and maybe in production, wasn't really up to match what you could do visually with some of these kind of fantastical or sci-fi.
Maybe, although this is, I mean, at the same time, they were making the Star Wars prequels. They were making Lord of the Rings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like in order to make those movies as amazing as they were, they took a lot of resources and money, and studios were just like, well, unless I have something that has it, I think after Lord of the Rings came out and those other things, then people are like, you know what? We can get back into comic book. We can get back into superhero. We can make these. And it's like, there's a lot of money to be made because those kids are grown up and they have, we have jobs. We're buying all the toys. So,
Well, I think the other thing was that the '87 movie was probably such a bomb, such a stinker. Like, it was a box office bomb, I think, too. And it's like, that probably sullied its name. And, they probably just didn't see, the ROI in mind. But then in recent years, I guess probably what it is, if I had to guess, would be they saw the success of the MCU, right?
Yeah.
And that probably, even then they waited a while, right? But they saw that working, and they saw like, okay, yes, we can, what I really mean by that is they saw the evolution of like fandom culture.
Yeah.
And some of the toxic fandom stuff was still very present, but they also saw it started to wane a little bit. And then they're like, okay, well, now we have a Kevin Smith thing. And it's like, okay, well, now maybe the timing really is right. They must have decided. So I also think that even prior to the movie, there was a renewed interest in like people like us in like, collecting these things, like collecting toys again. And there's been, at this point, like, I don't know, like a dozen different like attempts to reboot the toys and so forth for adults and for kids. So maybe all of that combined, they've just gotten smarter about this. And so I think for that reason, my guess is that they're going to be a lot more, a lot more sensitive, not in a bad way, but, let's say appreciative of like where the fans are coming from and what the fans want than maybe they would have been, 20 years ago. Right.
Right. And I think they've had the time to kind of, reboot, like you said, rebooting the toys, rebooting the cartoon a couple different times. And I think most recently, like you said, with Kevin Smith's version was incredible. I really loved what he did with that it was really deep in the storytelling and deep in the lore. And it was kind of picking up where stuff had already happened and going further. So now it's like, I think they were kind of priming the audience, and they're like, okay, things are ready. We got it together. Let's try it. Let's go big.
Now that said, when I want to let you know, I have not watched until you sent them to me today. I had not watched these trailers on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get overly into it. And the reason I didn't want to get overly into it is because I saw something on Facebook, like when they were shooting this movie, that someone leaked an on-set photo, and it was Prince. It was a guy playing He-Man, Nicholas, whatever his Guillotine is not his last name, Gallatin, something like that. And they had leaked him, and it was an official shoot from like, you know, a still from like, or not a still, like a paparazzi thing, and it was, of the shoot, and it was very clearly taking place on Earth. He's walking around in a button down and pants. And that was the first photo, I think, posted to the fan communities, and everyone, of course, lost their shit because they're like, "Oh God, they're doing it again." So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna. First of all, I don't have time to get in these weeds, but like, I'm just gonna sit back and see what happens, and when the movie comes out, reserve my judgment till then, and hope that it's good, and hope that it creates a franchise, the same way that I did with the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which didn't seem like created a franchise, although I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so I've been spoilers free, other than I know who is in the cast, right? And but other than that, I didn't really know. I don't really know what the plot is totally until these trailers came out. So that's exciting. So what should we do? Should we just watch the two trailers? And the two trailers that we're talking about are not the original one, right? It's the one that came out a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Which is called Masters of the Universe official trailer. It's 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And then the next one after that is the official final trailer, which came out a little less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So should we just let this rip and stop when we want to say something?
Sure. Yeah.
By raising our hands, and then we'll go. So if you are listening to this, you know, you can go on YouTube and watch these trailers themselves. You're going to hear it here at the same time. But here we go. This is Masters of the Universe, the official trailer.
Here we go.
So I'm going to stop right away. What we're seeing right away is a Prince Adam in pink, right? He's in
I love that we've got the callback to the pink shirt, but it's like a pink button up, and it looks like he's kind of got Muggle, like human Earth attire.
Yeah,
but we're not in Earth. It looks like we are very distinctly. Yeah. So already I'm hopeful. So
and just from the shot that I happened to stop on here at 10 seconds in, it's like, without a second look, I already know what I'm looking at. I know I'm looking at Ram Man, and I know I'm looking at Mechanic because I have those stupid, stupid triangle eyes.
I'm so excited. Yeah,
that already right there is like, okay, I never thought I would see Mechanic in something. Right.
Also, I like the aesthetic. They didn't take the comic book characters, and like you see this so much in superhero movies like X-Men. Though I loved it, they didn't have Wolverine in his. They had him in like black biker attire.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're seeing a superhero movie based on comics or a cartoon. We want them to have their look. And these guys are looking like the cartoon, like the toy. Like I'm seeing the triangle. I am so happy about that.
As much of it as I think they could probably get away with without making it like too campy, right? As we've talked about. But anyway, we're not going to stop every 10 seconds. Let's keep it.
Yeah, we should just let it go, and then let's go.
I know most of you don't remember me, but I know all of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm hyped already. We've got a battle cat. We've got everybody, Man-at-Arms looking sharp. I can't contain myself.
This is something that I feel like you bring up a bigger point where it's like, we already know that we're going to have Man-at-Arms and Battle Cat, so that's great. And two things I wanted to mention besides that is like, you've forgotten me, but I haven't forgotten you, and I feel like that's a direct call to like the little boys in all of us, right?
Yeah, totally.
You know. And at the same time, it seems to be like, we can talk about the plot later, but the da-na-na-na-na, like we hear a little bit of the theme song. And again, that theme song, I don't think was in the original one. And I want to call that out because it gets me excited in the same way that the latest James Bond movie, the trailers had the theme music from the 1969 On Her Majesty's Secret Service in the background, very subtly, and so all the Bond fans were like,
yes,
and it's just like those little things that they're not hard to do.
Yeah, it's
and
part
they
of
have
the
to be.
DNA. It's like you want those elements there. You can make something new and make it your own, and I want to see that, but still have that like little pieces connected to the the continuity. But me too.
There's your Castle Grayskull, of course.
Gorgeous. And Battlecat is the
Oh yeah, we have to stop on that. I mean, that to me. There's nothing. I mean, well, first of all, Castle Grayskull looks awesome. I love the like the god-sized statues out front.
Oh
That's a beautiful touch.
Uh-huh.
And then there's nothing more nostalgic than the MGM line to begin with. But then, I mean, I feel like, I love.
I feel like somebody they did their homework. They're like, what were the things that were missing that made fans upset? And I love it whenever they do it with the MGM where they do something playful with the cat. But this is such a perfect opportunity.
This is where you
make
would do
Battlecat your lion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even though I was stuck light years away on Earth, I never stopped trying to get back home.
Everything changed since you left.
It's all gone. Skeletor took my family. And he destroyed our world.
It's not my fault. I know how it feels to fail. Take the smart. And when you fall.
Just want to call out that because we've passed by a lot of it, but we've seen Eternia, and we're not starting with an origin story very clearly.
No. Yeah,
right?
This is what I love, is that we don't have to make every reboot or every new version of the IP starting over. I do like a good origin story, but I feel like everybody knows who He-Man is. And
however, I think maybe in this situation, maybe it's the origin story of He-Man, but we're not starting with the Prince Adam discovering the powers for the first time, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, where it's like I think we started with him already having been bit, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. It's like we know it. You're right. We know it. And also I just want to call it that we've already seen Evil Lyn, which I knew was going to happen, which was very exciting. But until this trailer, I did not know Trapjaw was in it.
Yeah. Trapjaw is looking awesome.
Yeah, we want to look at Trap, and of course the sword, which looks translucent, which is beautiful, beautiful translucent sword. And right away, it's like we get a sense just from this shot here of like the mix of like old, like Celtic, runic, druidic magic, and then like something vaguely technical in the sword. It's looking good.
I love that cross of something mythological and classic of the past, but also futuristic.
That's a better way of saying it.
Like that's the essence of He-Man. That kind of, like you said in early episodes, cassette futurism.
Exactly. So it looks like what I like about Trapjaw is in this version, it's like he can just from moving, choose whatever weapon and it comes out. Right.
Yeah. That's badass.
It looks really cool. He looks really cool. Now I will say, like, why attack with a hook when you've got a laser or something like that? Although, if you've watched our previous episodes, I don't have them here, but
he doesn't have to fumble with trying to put on something. Although that could be some good comic relief in the movie, or putting on a bow.
If you've watched our previous episodes and you have seen our Trapjaw, whose hook doesn't work quite correctly, it's a little bit flaccid. Because it happens to every evil warrior, and he's for sale if you want to buy him. But yes, okay.
Well, that's your chance to stand tall.
Ooh.
in my shadow.
This is my home. I'm gonna fight for it. But I can't do it without you.
Somebody wants to brawl.
I need every man, woman, or whatever that is.
You may have the power, but you're too scared to use it.
Trust me. I know how to use it.
You tell everyone that you're from another planet. It just makes you sound a little very crazy.
Okay.
Love it. Everything. For a trailer, I'm gonna give that trailer 10 out of 10. Five Shimers, 10 out of 10. That's hype. I love that it's like the kind of changing your expectation. If you were going to be disappointed that it's maybe takes place on Earth, maybe there's some Earth, but it seems like they rip them away from Earth, bring them back to Eternia.
Well, I think so. Although let's watch the other one and then we'll talk about it. But
sure, yeah.
We're seeing a little bit of Earth. We understand that's where he is. I like that they've like found like, okay, yeah, he's obviously like just like a guy wearing a pink button-down shirt, and that's why he's Pink Adam. But it's like they didn't try to shy away from that. They're just like, hey,
they leaned into it, and it's like I think things like that were missing from the original movie, and I like that to find a way to make it work. And yeah.
And then we're seeing like it looks like several different environments on Eternia, which is cool. We are seeing, it looked like Zor, the sorceress, I'm assuming, and we are seeing obviously Skeletor and Evil Lyn, and we saw Fisto, I think, in there, and Roboto, I guess, is that big. I mean, it's like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like I feel like they got everybody, all the characters in this, which is really cool.
I don't see my Moss Man. I don't see my Buzz Off, but we'll see.
Also,
we'll see what happens.
Jared Leto is Skeletor, and I'll say that was going to be my only. I was a little reticent about that, but to hear him talk, that does not sound like Jared Leto. That sounds like he's done some like he's really gotten into the character, and I'll give hats off to that, because I was like, how is that going to play? I was like, he's not a person I immediately think of as being. I think of Skeletor as being somebody a little bit more older, seasoned, like Frank Langella. I think was a great idea for that. Have somebody playing Dracula who's been a classic villain, and that voice, holy shit, that's awesome. So I'm excited to see him pull it off.
Yeah, I true. Like I would have thought like Hugo Weaving or well, I guess that's just because of Red Skull, but but like someone like that, someone like some older British actor. But you're right, it doesn't sound like Jared Leto. I mean, when they announced Jared Leto, I'm like, oh god, are we getting Suicide Squad Jared Leto?
Yeah, it's like, is it going to be cartoonish? Like, I mean,
are we getting the Mario voice from his House of Gucci, or like what are we getting?
Yeah, exactly. But
but actually, I'm sure there's like filters and stuff on there. It's not just his natural voice, which is fine, but. Let's watch the other one and see what it adds to it. And again, I have only today when you sent this to me did I watch this. So this is the one that has just dropped a couple days ago, I believe, right?
Yeah, this is the final. Ooh.
Adam, when you hold the magic sword, what do you say?
By the power of Grayskull.
Go on.
I have the power!
Now you're ready.
It seems the prodigal prince has returned. I am a devil, but I mean to be a god.
What am I supposed to do?
You are he who will restore peace to Eternia.
Skeletor took my family, and he destroyed our world. I'm gonna fight for it. Mechanic. Yeah. And Ram Man.
Hell yeah!
And you, Fisto.
Mr. Allen!
It's Adam, dude.
Hey, put your neck away. Let me show you what reading about looks like.
The time for talk is over.
You can help me with this?
Whoa.
It is quite heavy, so if you
Oh,
could just...
my God, yeah.
Okay. All right. So thoughts on this?
Loving it. I love opening with a callback to the cartoon. It's been 40 years. This is like a real, this just distills a lot of the hype into the movie. We're getting a little bit more of the story. Like, it seems like He-Man is, is that a comic book in their world, or is he a hero that, like,
What do you think? Yeah, I can't tell. What do you think?
Yeah, I wonder, it feels a little bit like maybe this is picking up the continuity of the 80s movie. Like, maybe there's been a connection with He-Man in that world. He saved the world before. He's here now. But I love that. Like, coming back to your home and stuff's gone awry. It's like Skeletor has taken over. So there's some real stakes in this. And I just, visually, it looks awesome. I'm loving that we're seeing Mechanic. We're seeing, all of them. Ram Man, Fisto. And, everyone's looking pretty hype. I did want to see Tila with her, like, her hair and kind of the serpent armor.
I know.
But she looks cool. I love the sorceress. The sorceress looks awesome.
Looks great.
The fly-in. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we're seeing a lot of like we're seeing young Adam picking up the sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm just to wager on the plot here. Like, do you think we are like he fought off Skeletor as a kid? He turned into He-Man and then was sent to another world for safety.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because it seems like he's taken over, and I wonder if it's like we hide the prince so he can be safe in another world. But yeah, like I'm wondering, like, is this him kind of remembering he did something? Yeah, like you said, as a kid.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like in that situation, does he, like, maybe in the real world he's like, it seems like he remembers everything, but maybe, the typical movie he would, like, suddenly remember, right, at a certain point.
Or I wonder if in early episodes with Sorceress and the Tila, like, maybe they kind of wipe his mind so he is sort of like incognito. He doesn't remember all of this, so he can stay better hidden. And then, like, elements of this are starting to, bleed out. Like, maybe he needs to remember because they're in trouble and they need him again. So
maybe. And
yeah.
and if I had to guess on the plot, I would say that, like, yeah, the Randor is dead. Queen, it's like Superman, right? The parents are dead. In that, because we're only seeing one shot of Randor in, like, one environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing this sort of, like, gauzy dream-like version of the sorceress, but, like, she's, as a person, doesn't exist anymore, would be my guess. I mean, just from, like, again, this is just me guessing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
When we see her in later, it's like it's in bird form, I think. And
Yeah.
because it looks like this scene may be taking place in the comic book shop.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, he picks up this sword in the comic book shop, and then he has this memory of the sorceress.
Yeah, it's like it's starting to come back to him.
I could be wrong, but it looks like there's, like, figures on the shelf and back, and it looks like, or this is at his desk, maybe his desk at work or something, rather than, like, now you're ready, she says, and we're seeing him, kill these guys, and Yeah, now we're seeing all kinds. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
Zor.
you see, yeah,
Roboto is huge,
yeah,
which is cool.
awesome.
And my primary guess. Well, okay, let's take some wages on this. Now, obviously, we don't know the plot, but like, movie structure. I know movie. Like, at what point do you think Adam returns to Eternia? Like in the first 10 minutes, at the break into 2 mark, so like let's say 25 minutes in,
Yeah,
at the midpoint. What do you think?
it looks like, we're, getting flashes of him living kind of an ordinary life in on Earth, and kind of distantly remembering this past, or is connected to something else. And it feels like he's like, kind of, we're establishing that he's been gone for a while. So this feels like maybe he's very quickly pulled out of our universe into their universe, kind of establishing that he's, human, or, he's been living in this kind of ordinary life for a while. And then I think you were kind of going to get that in the first maybe 10 or 15 minutes, kind of just establish that he's been gone, and
Yeah.
like he's connected to this. So I think it looks like a lot of more of this movie is going to be a pullback to Eternia, and establishing that things have gone wrong. It is not,
Yeah.
the wondrous, happy world that it is in the cartoons, and that he grew up with. That it's been destroyed, it's been shattered, it's been overrun, and then like it's sort of darkened. Like maybe these heroes are sort of like leading a resistance,
Right.
and or reluctantly serving, Skeletor and his armies. So I think it's like we're seeing the person that's pulled back, and then we're going to probably, I'm assuming, see his sort of quest to find the sword, kind of, he's ready. So now his training, and I think maybe they hit him, so maybe, like you said, maybe he got to the sword when he was a kid and he was able to fight something off, or he was able to discover that he's He-Man and he was in danger, so they had to go hide him. So now it's about, the hero's journey,
Yeah.
coming here back to Eternia. So.
Yeah, so the stepping into the new world in our Joseph Campbell Hero's Journey talk which would be, yeah. So I think that since this is a movie with like a 2-hour runtime roughly, with credits, I'm gonna say I think 25 minutes. I think we're spending 25 minutes on Earth with flashbacks to Eternia, and to get him through this whole thing, and then he's going to somehow wind up back in Eternia, because he's got to have plenty of time to, like, we've got to build up all the Eternia stuff, and he's needs plenty of time to meet all these people and go through all that. So okay, cool. And my thinking of, like, right off the bat is like, why have Roboto there as like one of the main guys, like not Ram Man, or I don't know who else would be, but my thinking, it's because they need someone they can easily kill without it being a problem, because they can always bring Roboto back.
Yeah.
Right.
Have
like
the robots, like, whenever you need to smash something, kind of Transformer style, you can rebuild them and bring them back.
Yeah. Now, since you mentioned Call to Adventure, like, when do you think that he comes face to face with Skeletor? Do you think like midpoint would be the classic time, but do you think it happens right off the bat, or?
I feel like it's got to be midpoint. Like maybe looks like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Obviously, we're making a lot of assumptions on the trailer. Like, part of me thinking initially that Skeletor had taken over Eternia, but like we see shots of him at Snake Mountain, so maybe he's come by, kind of decimated Eternia and left, and now the story is about him training and finding the other heroes and building sort of that Avengers, and then taking the battle to Skeletor. So I'm thinking maybe more about that kind of halfway point, and then
what I'm noticing here on the left is, I am pretty sure that this might be Goatman. Goatman is they did not make a toy of Goatman initially. He's a pretty obscure, like, Filmation character, but that might be Goatman. He's like a red devil guy with goat horns. So
Yeah.
that looks like him.
I'm liking the look. He's got his staff and everything, and
Yeah.
Skeletor looks badass, especially the red glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to see who else we see in this big group scene. We see Mechanic. We see a bunch. It looks like there's a bunch of just like random people too.
Yeah, it looks like the main people that we can recognize are Mechanic, Ram Man, and Fisto.
Yeah,
And,
it looks like. And what? Yeah,
I don't see any other. I was waiting for, I love the kind of look of these, like Skeletor.
Yeah,
knights. They're like kind of like death knights from D&D, or
that's right. Yeah,
I love that armor. It looks
you've
really
got like
cool. I love ever seen a lot of the toys, the kind of the jet ski stuff. What do we see? Does she have the snake armor? No, I mean,
it's hard to
Tila's
tell.
armor actually looks pretty cool. I just miss the kind of iconic like
yeah.
snake
She, you know what? This is the one character that they're like. I mean, like, look, okay, they didn't make Man-at-Arms armor orange. Fine, I can live with that. Yeah, they did make her look a little bit more like the 1987 movie, like that. She also had like a jumpsuit kind of thing, and that's one where it's just like, I get them not wanting to like have her dressed as flimsy as the cartoon.
Oh yeah, totally understand that. Like something that's like practical and like looks like a cool suit, but I just actually I feel like. You mentioned, Man-at-Arms doesn't have the orange, but like his suit itself looks very mechanized, like Man-at-Arms suit was, and he's got the helmet. The helmet I kind of like a little bit better because I think when you see it in the cartoon, the orange through it, like it makes it look like, I don't know, he's wearing a video game. This actually looks like it would be protecting him more. So,
and then who do we think this is on the right?
Sorceress. I think, right?
Is it? Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Or it could be the queen. Maybe she's been in jail.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing. I was trying to, like, when I saw her with the like kind of wings.
I didn't think about that.
Crown. Maybe that is the queen. But
oh yeah. I was trying to see if this is the same.
I guess that would make more sense if that's his mother talking to him in that kind of almost flashbacky sequence, or like maybe it's like a hologram projector, like she's.
Oh no, I think in the flashback sequence it's 100% the sorceress. I think you're right, but it's more. Is that the same person as in the jail? It could be.
I think it's maybe she's hiding out, like she's. Yeah, it's her. So
yeah,
I don't know why she, kind of hiding out, but
yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. So the sorceress is like a larger. It looks like the same person.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, it's the sorceress. She doesn't have her powers or something. Mm-hmm. We see Mechanic using his neck in an actually useful and cool way.
Yeah, exactly.
We see Ram Man a little in action, and we sort of see a little bit of Fisto, well, at least punching someone. Here's to Alan. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. It looks pretty cool. Any other thoughts on this? They're also on Earth a little bit. So we see, that's interesting. So we see, it looks like Tila comes to Earth.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Maybe they come back, assemble, and then they have to take the fight back to Earth. But I just like that at least they're going to be going. They're not going to be static in one place. So.
It's either that they come to take the fight to Earth, or Adam picks up the sword, activates it, and that calls their attention to where he is, and they come to get him or something like that. Right.
Also, I love the gear. We talk about this in the episodes. Man-at-Arms and his toys, like Batman. Every time we cut to him, he's got some cool gadget, and he's got this cannon. He's got the cool side piece gun. Like I'm. Just loving his gear in this movie.
It looks awesome. So yeah. Great. Skeletor looks really cool. It looks like they have a really cool fight. Do you think? I don't know. Everything else is going to be a spoiler. We just don't know.
We don't know.
Do you think that they are like? Do you think they kill Man-at-Arms at the death of the mentor spot?
Oof.
Or they kill?
I hope not. I mean, that's the interesting thing, because I feel like the cartoon, we introduce robots because we never kill anybody in the cartoons typically, but maybe they do that differently in the movie to kind of raise the stakes. So
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, in this like post MCU, like post Deadpool world, like everyone
yeah,
wants to see now. It's like, when are we going to get our version of He-Man that actually like slices people up with a sword? You know, like I
yeah,
wonder if that's where they're going with this. From the trailer, it looks like not so much. Like
yeah.
people get hit with Mechanics' neck and stuff like that, but like maybe that's. I mean, I guess we should. Is this rated? Is this rated PG? Is it PG-13?
I think it's PG.
So yeah.
But-
So interesting. And then I guess the final question is like, do you anticipate that they're gonna leave it open-ended so that there is a
Oh, yeah.
prospect of a trilogy? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of these things are getting greenlit with the notion that it has to be a trilogy to make as much. You know, Hollywood wants to make its money. Although that was the big disappointment when we mentioned the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I absolutely loved the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I thought it was
I liked it too, yeah.
spectacular. And
Yeah.
then it's like they made this huge, great movie, great story, and then I guess Hasbro decided, it's expensive, so we're not going to do it. And just the whole cast is like, "Are you kidding? We made this amazing thing." I think, hopefully, these guys. Well, I mean, sadly, I think everything is going to be based on how the box office does. But
Of course.
I feel like
not just the
something.
box office, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like, when you make something like a reboot like this, we've waited 40 years, almost 40 years from the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we've only had 2 movies in 40 years, come on. Like, they want to do something, they got to tell a complete story. So I feel like this is going to bring us into like kind of in media res with the conflict, but then there's going to be an ongoing, I hope, because this looks really good. And maybe, there might be, we haven't seen him in the trailer. Is there going to be Hordak? Is there going to be some of the other kind of late additions? Are they going to set up She-Ra?
Oh God! I mean, are they going to do the Marvel thing, and are they going to do a mid credits or post credits sequence? Where they do something like that.
That would
right?
be. Yeah, I'm hype. I'm excited. I would love to. Honestly, this looks. I don't want to jinx this. This looks really good and really fun, and I feel like they've had so much time to kind of plan this. And I think they've had, with the different reboots of the cartoons, they've had a chance to kind of figure out what's the story that we want to tell. Yeah. They've had their chance to kind of take their time with it. They didn't rush this. They waited 40 years. So I'm optimistic that I feel like they're going to give us something that's, a good way to get us refreshed with the universe, get us excited, and then keep us wanting more. I think they gave us a lot of characters, but I think they're going to be, I hope they don't just, spill everything too soon. Want to give us coming back for more. Cause I feel like this is one of the only big movies I'm hyped for this summer. The other things have been like little tiny horror movies that are awesome, but like this is a big budget movie that I'm really hyped for. I think
now the fact of the matter is that the movies just don't make as much money at the box office as they did like 20 years ago.
COVID,
right.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. Fewer people are going to the movies, and so to have any movie like do a, Barbie level thing, which is what Mattel will be comparing this to.
Yeah.
Right? That's the difficult thing to keep in mind. It's like Barbie was like an enormous, not unexpected, but like an enormous hit for them.
Yeah. I think they knew it was going to do well, but like, yeah, maybe, I can't imagine they spent, visually it looks good, but I don't think they spent too much money. It's a comedy, right? For Barbie. And then it became $1 billion movie. So it's like,
so that's the biggest problem for anything that comes after, right? Is it's like, okay, so right off the bat, this has more special effects. Barbie has a lot of special effects. They're just maybe not so showy, but like,
they don't have elaborate like lightning fight scenes and dragons and fire.
But not by any stretch of the imagination a cheap movie to make. But
yeah, exactly. Because
if Barbie cost this and Masters Universe cost this, and Barbie made this, the Masters Universe better make this.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm worried is that's going to be their expectation. It's like we did so well with, and it's like, well, there's a lot more like, there was a lot of nostalgia, and Barbie was a really smart movie as well as really funny.
And it won't. it won't do as much money as Barbie, I don't think, because that's just like the reality of for whatever reason, it just like it probably won't have the same, like, Barbie was a movie and a comment on femininity and what it means to be a woman, right? They're not going to do this with the Masters of the Universe movie. I don't think. There might be like slight bits of that, but that's not what the grown-up fan base of Masters of the Universe wants, This is obviously not that. Not saying that you couldn't make a movie called Masters of the Universe and have it be that, but that's not what they're doing, I don't think. So I don't know. I think so that's my only concern with it. Now, my question for you is, if they are indeed thinking about this, like, how can we set this up for maximum trilogizing? And if you were the executive, which would you pick for your mid or post credit sequence that set up the next level of expectation and got people excited? Would you pick? I'm going to give you 3 choices.
Okay.
Or you can come up with your own.
Okay.
Would you pick? Skeletor is in ruins, not quite dead, and in walks Hordak, right? Like you said. Would you pick? That's option A. Option B. The heroes are all successful and blah 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 blah, and Man-at-Arms or whoever is like, okay, He-Man, there's something that we didn't tell you. You have a sister and she's on Earth too. And then we cut to some actress who we recognize sitting and we know that she's She-Ra. You know what I mean? Or would you cut to a spaceship somewhere else in the world and some other, like, we see hands on a keyboard and they're typing and they're like, did you hear they just defeated this big evil presence on Eternia? Maybe we need that person's help. And we cut to the other person and it's Lion-O from Thundercats. And he says, Thundercats, ho!
Oh, I would love that.
Like, and they immediately go with the crossover, right?
Oh man, that would be fun. That's a movie I'd love to see get. Like,
that would be the way to do it MCU style, right? They make a Masters movie, they make a Thundercats movie, they make something else, and then they merge them all together. But the reason I mention that is because they did do, like, Mattel has released Thundercats. Like they did do a Masters Thundercats like crossover figure line recently. So I'm just thinking, like, all right, if they're really serious about their whole franchise thing,
that would be cool to see. I think I want them to keep making more of this stuff. It would be great to have a She-Ra. I envision, because I just feel like we can tell a full story. Maybe they defeat Skeletor and I see him kind of slinking off, because that's sort of been the theme. He comes back, and what could be the next big baddie, and I feel like I want that, just thinking about kind of the late versions of the original cartoon when they bring in somebody like Hordak. That's what I'd kind of like to see, because I feel like you've had this awesome villain for the whole movie, but you need to have your Thanos. You need to have what's your even bigger baddie that's sort of like lurking in the fringe. And maybe something like, or maybe there's a thing where there's a character that is hinted that's with a Hordak or with a Skeletor that's saves him. They look familiar, and maybe that's the reveal, is that we see that it's She-Ra, but she's been raised by Skeletor or raised by Hordak somewhere else and doesn't know her real potential. So that could be the conflict for the second movie, is them kind of having to battle against each other and then finding out who they are, joining forces, and then the third movie is like everybody all in. But
cool.
I mean,
well, you're excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
And hopefully this week we'll be able to see it along with everyone else in our theater, midnight movie or whatever, and we'll go see it. I was going to try to see if I can go to the New York premiere, but I don't think I didn't reserve that ahead of time, but I do know someone going, so we'll see.
Nice.
Anything else you want to throw in before we sign off?
I'm just so excited. I mean, this has been like what we've been kind of gearing up for months, if not a year. So last week we, kicked things off with the podcast. It's been really fun to kind of push this out and share it with people. So I hope you guys go out and see this movie. Tell your friends, and if you're liking our podcast, you're liking our channel, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, share it with your neighbors, and
Yeah.
we got a couple episodes coming. We've got episodes in the can, and we're going to be trying to release those timely. So each week.
Oh yeah, we'll be releasing a couple episodes a week all through June, and then through July. At least we might go down to an episode a week. But yeah, listen on wherever podcasts are heard, and also when we're going through and we're watching the old Filmation cartoons, one of the really fun things that we're doing, besides ranking them and rating them and deciding if they're rad or manly or appropriate or cheesy or homoerotic or whatever they may be, we are also looking and seeing which toys they make us want to buy, because that was, of course, was the original purpose of all of this. And we are actually then selling those toys, or in some cases making them or modifying them. So if you do want to buy the official Castle Podskull remake of toys from my eBay, you can buy things like the Shadow Beast, who's been decked out in hair metal tights and playing his guitar with his his little hair metal chains and so forth. You can buy these toys directly on our site, and that's unprecious.com/Castle Podskull, which just takes you to my eBay where you can buy them there, as well as you can watch, if you're listening, you can watch on YouTube /Unprecious Studios, or you can again subscribe at Instagram or TikTok at Castle_Podskull. And until then, Kevin, fan at arms, I should say.
Yeah. Until then, keep listening, keep watching, and good journey.
Good journey.